Transnational marriage or international marriage or foreign marriage. Have you heard these words before? Are you wondering what these words mean? It basically means getting married to somebody who is not from your country. International marriage, transnational marriage, or foreign marriage. My name is Priscilla Kumah. Welcome to my channel, and I'm going to tell you all about my journey because transnational marriage is the story of my life. I'm sure most of you know this, but some of you don't know, so let me just tell you. Between my husband and I, we have 5 countries. Yes, you heard that right. We have 5 countries between the two of us, meaning that we have experiences from 5 different countries. We've lived in 5 different countries combined. Yes, so I'm just going to mention the countries. I'm not going to put timelines on them, but I'll have to tell you how all these dynamics come to play in our home. So you're all not married, obviously, and my husband and I have these 5 countries that we've all lived in at a point in time in our lives. We've lived in Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and America. Yes, he has lived in 3 and I have lived in 2 of these countries. I'm sure you were not surprised when I made a video and I spoke Yoruba, which is one of the Nigerian dialects. I spoke Yoruba. Yes, so I've lived in Nigeria before, even though I'm Ghanaian, and now I live in the US. So all these dynamics come into play, and it makes the home very interesting. So things to consider before getting married to a foreigner. I have little points from my experience that I'm going to share with you, and hopefully this helps you out. Getting married to somebody is very scary in the first place. Come to talk of marrying somebody you don't have the same country in common with. That is very scary, very stressful, and gives you a lot of anxiety. Yes, especially the countries are entirely different or diverse. You are dating somebody who is not from your country, or you are married to somebody who is not from your country and you're having struggles. These are things you need to talk about before you even marry that person. First on the list is deciding to visit each other's country. So you have to go and see your partner's country, and your partner has to come and see your country, so that you'll be sure if you have to relocate there one day, is this something you'll be able to put up with? Will you be able to live in this country with their culture and everything? Of course, it's not easy to travel across borders, especially if visa is involved, but try and visit if you can. Visit and see where he or she comes from, how they react, how they interact, the culture, the food, and everything. Have a fair idea how the country looks like. Technology has made it easy, so sometimes you can watch videos about those countries and have a fair idea before you go and visit. But it is very important to visit the people in your partner's country. Introduce yourself, let the families know you because of tomorrow's sake, especially if you are family-oriented, Asian culture, African culture, we are family-based. So visit and know your in-laws and know his or her extended family members for tomorrow's sake. The second point, marriage doesn't guarantee instant visa. As funny as it may sound, marriage doesn't guarantee you instant visa. Because you marry to the person doesn't mean that automatically you come from that country and you just walk in and out of the country anytime you want. No. You would have to go through a lot of paperwork, a lot of immigration processes and paperwork before you end up traveling to the person's country. And this is very stressful and expensive. So talking about expensive brings us to the third point, financial talk or discussion. The two of you need to sit down and plan towards all these travel processes and the money involved and who is contributing what to what. Visa process is very stressful. I went through it for several years, over 10 years, going up and down the embassy. A lot of money went into it. We had to take an immigration lawyer and paid heavily. So when you have to take an immigration lawyer, it's expensive. It doesn't come cheap. So you have to discuss all these things. And this also brings commitment. Who is willing to pay what? Are you willing to wait? You need a big patience to wait for travel documents. It's very stressful and you need time and patience to be able to do it. You also have to have plans of visiting both families. So some people come from two different countries and end up in a different country. In our case, we come from two different countries in Africa and we all ended up in the US here. So you have to plan ahead in the future. After you get married, how are we going to visit our families? When are we going to see your parents? When are we going to see my parents? Which part of the year? Is it every 3 years, every 2 years? Which countries do we go first and which countries do we go again? As I said, if you're from family-oriented country, then you have to be paying attention to your extended family members, your parents, your in-laws. So you have to talk about who is visiting who at what time. Obviously, visiting is not easy and it's not cheap. Money is involved to get your visa. Money is involved to get your tickets. Money is involved to cover your stay, hotel, travels, and all that. And if you're traveling with kids, it's not easy as well. So you have to plan those things. Every 5 years, we're going to be going. And when we go, where are we going to stay? Talk about all that. That's what the price you pay for getting married to a foreigner. And sometimes, even in your absence, your relatives have to be doing the visiting. Your parents have to go and visit his parents. His parents have to go and visit your parents across country because maybe you are not able to be physically present. Occasions, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever festival. If a funeral happens in the other person's family, somebody has to represent you if you cannot go and represent yourself. These are all external commitments and your family has to be on board. That brings me to the fifth point, very important. Your family has to be on board. Your family has to know you are marrying somebody from a different country and they have to be accepting of it. Sometimes they might not accept. It's all up to you if you still want to go ahead. But the family has to be on board and know the commitment that is involved. Because it's not easy for your parents to get up and travel and go and visit his or her parents. So if they are not on board, they're not going to be willing to represent you at that wedding or represent you at that funeral that happened across the other family. They won't be going to family events. So your family has to be on board, your siblings have to be supportive, and everybody should be willing to be traveling back and forth. And it doesn't come easy. You have to support them sometimes because you are sending them on an errand. So financially, you have to send them money and say, oh, go cover this wedding for me because I cannot come. And they will be willing to go for you. There's something we call home court advantage. Home court advantage is just like in sports. Home court means your turf, your comfort zone, your country. You have more advantage because it's your country, but your partner doesn't have any advantage because that culture and that country is new to him or her. So because it's your home court, you have your family, you have your friends. It's easier to plan events, it's easier to get help, it's easier to know where to get things, the good restaurants, good school for your kids, good school for yourself, good job and stuff. You're able to navigate the system. You have to bear in mind your partner doesn't know all that, so you have to carry them along. You have to help them, drive them to places, drive them to programs because they might not be driving. They might not have the license in your country to drive. You have to introduce them to your friends gradually, take them to events and all that. Sometimes the partner might feel lost and feel left out. You have to always remember that this is not their country. They don't come from here. They came to live here all because of you. That is a lot of sacrifice. Not everybody can do that. Move your life and restarting your life is so stressful. For someone to pick up their life, travel across to an unknown country to start life with you is a big sacrifice. People are doing it now because we have technology. People are meeting online. People are traveling the world. People are marrying from all over the place. It's not easy to stop your life, stop whatever you have going on, stop your school, your business, leave your family and friends behind and move to join your partner in a different country. So be sensitive to that, take them along, introduce them gradually to the culture, to the people, to the environment. Do not let them feel left out. Be a supportive partner because they sacrificed for you. So because you have home court advantage, you might do certain things that he or she might not like. Be sensitive and bear in mind they are learning and bring them on board. Involve them and let them enjoy their stay in your country. Language barrier is very key as well. Sometimes the person doesn't speak your language, or they speak your language, but certain dialects have different tonations and entirely different words. Language barrier and accent. Different countries have different languages. Some speak English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and even the English language. We have the UK accent, the American accent, and everything. Some words that you mention are different. Some say hood of a car, some say bonnet of a car. So even though you speak the same English language, the words are entirely different. Some say queue, I'm in a queue. That is British. I'm in a line, that is American. So you are speaking and telling your partner, I'm in a queue. I'm in a queue, I'll be right back. And he doesn't have any idea what a queue means. He knows I'm in a line. Then you have to reset, oh my God, my bad, I'm in a line, before the person will get it. Sometimes this language barrier leads to miscommunication. It leads to miscommunication, and it leads to fights and arguments and all over. So bear in mind this language barrier. And if you speak entirely different languages, you speak English, he speaks Spanish or Portuguese or something, now you have to make the conscious effort to learn the person's language. So before you even think of relocating to the person's country, you have to go online and start taking language courses, the basic ones that will help you move around. You have to watch TV shows, TV programs in those languages, so you can pick little words from the street that will help you get by. So you're also now coming to learn a new language and start practicing how to speak it. So your partner has to be supportive in helping you speak their language, or both of you have to learn entirely new languages. I know somebody who speaks Spanish and another one who speaks English, and they ended up in a francophone country, French. So the two of you are now struggling to learn French to survive. You go to Germany, you have to learn German, and it's a lot. So bear in mind that the person is learning all these languages. The accents might also be different and sometimes difficult to comprehend, and it also leads to miscommunication. The dialects, you might even be from the same country, but you have different dialects, especially in Africa. We have so many dialects, even within the same region. So your dialects are different, and it can lead to miscommunication. Very important is culture shock. The person is new to your environment, everything is new to them, they are adjusting to everything. Some things are done differently in other countries. For instance, the family role. In some cultures, the man is the head of the family. The man has to provide. So they do not let their women work, or they do jobs, but the man still takes care of the bills in the house and stuff. But you are coming for a place where a woman and a man are supposed to be working and taking care of the house 50-50. So there's a mix there. He thinks I have to take care of the house, or you are expecting him to take care of the house because he is the man, and because of the culture where you're coming from, you think the man has to take care of the house, even though you are working and you are even earning more than him. So you have to sit down and talk about which culture are we inculcating in this at home. Are you going to be paying the bills, and am I going to be supporting? Am I going to be working, or are you going to be staying home? You have to find a way around it and meet in the middle and do whatever works for you. If not, you're going to be fighting financial issues here and there. So the culture plays a role in how your home tends to be. Food, we have different foods, different cultures. Even within the same country, some people don't eat certain things. So in my home like this, my husband doesn't eat pork because of where he's coming from. I don't eat pork because of personal preferences. So that's easy. It's a win-win situation for us both. So imagine if I love pork and he doesn't eat pork. I cannot cook pork and give pork to him. I can only buy it outside and eat it, or I can cook in a separate utensil and eat. But it will not be appropriate if you ignore the person's feelings or beliefs and start eating whatever they are not eating, or whatever he's not supposed to eat or drink or whatever. So the food also and the culture are interlaced, and they play a role in your family. Language, deciding on the language you want to teach your kids. Are you going to teach them both languages that you all speak that are separate, and they will now learn the language of communication in school? Let's say you have local dialects and you live in France. Are you going to be teaching them your local dialects from different countries? Then they'll be learning French. Whose language is going to supersede the other? What are you going to be speaking at home to the kids? What do you want them to learn? So marrying a foreigner is challenging. You need to be sure this is what you want to do. It is fun as well, very, very fun, because you bring all these diverse cultures in place. You talk about your countries and the things you do and you don't. You travel to other countries. It's very fun, and those people have more exposure. The couple have more exposure because they've traveled wide, or they took a risk by traveling to your country. So you always have something to talk about, and you learn every day. In my country we do it this way, in my country we don't do it this way, and it's like an eye-opener. It's revealing, it's a shock, and a whole lot. So it's fun bringing different things together. It can be boring when you're all from the same hometown, the same village and everything, but this one, it's very challenging. You have to think of ways to make your home run smoothly. You have to research about their country and see what is their food, how they like to dress, how they like to greet, and you start doing some of these things. Some people move religiously. They change the church they attend just to suit and fit in their partner's church. Non-Catholics end up becoming Catholics before they're able to marry together in a Catholic church, and a whole lot. So international marriage or transnational marriage or foreign national marriage is fun if you want it to be fun, but it is a lot of work and commitment. And if you are willing to sacrifice and relocate to join your partner, or let your partner relocate to join you, that is a very good thing. You're doing great. Don't give up. Keep doing it. Keep spicing your relationship. Keep spicing your marriage. And hopefully you guys end up in a place where you want to be. The name is Priscilla Kumah. Thanks for watching. And thanks for enjoying my channel. Thank you to all my 500 plus subscribers. Let's keep it going. And I'll see you again in the next video. Subscribe. Bye-bye.